The African Methodist Episcopal Church grew out of the Free African Society, which Richard Allen, Absalom Jones, and others established in Philadelphia in 1787. When officials at St. George Methodist Episcopal Church pulled blacks off their knees while praying, Free African Society members discovered just how far American Methodists would go to enforce racial discrimination against African Americans. Hence, these members of St. George's made plans to transform their mutual aid society into an African congregation. Although most wanted to affiliate with the Protestant Episcopal Church, Allen led a small group who resolved to remain Methodists. In 1794, Bethel AME was dedicated with Allen as pastor. To establish Bethel's independence from interfering white Methodists, Allen, a former Delaware slave, successfully sued in the Pennsylvania courts in 1807 and 1815 for the right of his congregation to exist as an independent institution. Because black Methodists and other Middle Atlantic communities encountered racism and desired religious autonomy, Allen called them to meet in Philadelphia to form a new Wesleyan denomination, the AME Church.
The geographical spread of the AME Church prior to the Civil War was mainly restricted to the Northeast and Midwest. Major congregations were established in Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Cincinnati, Chicago, Detroit, and other large blacksmith shop cities. Numerous northern communities also gained a substantial AME presence. Remarkably, the slave states of Maryland, Kentucky, Missouri, Louisiana, and for a few years South Carolina became additional locations for AME congregations. The denomination reached the Pacific Coast in the early 1850s, with churches in Stockton, Sacramento, San Francisco, and other places in California. Moreover, Bishop Morris Brown established the Canada Annual Conference.
The most significant era of denominational development occurred during the Civil War and Reconstruction. Oftentimes, with the permission of Union Army officials, AME clergy moved into the states of collapsing Confederacy to pull newly freed slaves into their denomination. I seek my brethren. The title of an often repeated sermon that Theophilus G. Stewart preached in South Carolina became clarion to evangelize fellow blacks in Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Texas, and many other parts of the South. Hence, in 1880, AME membership reached 400,000 because of its rapid spread below the Mason-Dixon line. When Bishop Henry M. Turner pushed African Methodism across the Atlantic into Liberia and Sierra Leone in 1891, and in South Africa in 1896, the AME Church now laid claim to adherence on 2 continents.
The AME Church serves as the first denomination created by people of African descent in the United States. Its heritage is rich, and while we have accomplished much in over 200 years, there is still much more to do on behalf of the oppressed, downtrodden, and marginalized. To God be the glory. Great things God has done, is doing, and will do.